If you want more money, more freedom, more control of your life, finances, money, owning a business, running a business, wanting it, being successful, I'm never going to start my business because I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I would always make that excuse. I'd always say, our business went down because he talks about where when he coaches his fighters, he trains them to has the world ended? No, the world hasn't ended. Meaning, using that logic, life is you only live once, right? YOLO. It's like I understand that, but Michael B. Jordan talks. So they thought he was, he wasn't paying his taxes. It wasn't that much, but he went through an audit because again, I got lucky. You could say that, but I still had to sacrifice something. I still had to work hard. If you want more money, more freedom, more control of your life, finances, money, I'm gonna tell you something. Nobody, nobody owes you success at all. And that's not me being disrespectful. That's just me trying to tell you the tough love story about this, the reality about what it means to be successful. I'm Jose, your owner operator from Big Cheese Pizza, and this is Clocked In. I made a little bit of upgrades to my studio. I bought this plant, I got an extra light, and I rearranged everything. And I bought this table too, so it could look a little bit better. So I really hope you like the little improvements that I'm making. Um, as an owner of a pizza, actually technically two pizzerias, I believe that we as humans can always improve. And I've talked about this before. We can always improve even if we think we're there. Now, these are some little improvements that I'm making. I hope I'm improving in the way I speak, in the way I make these videos, these podcast episodes. And yeah, I hope you like the content. Please like, share, and subscribe. But you don't have to. It's not the end of the world if you don't. This is new for me, so I'm always gonna ask for it, especially because this is new for me. And by the end of the video, I will have a Q&A that I have, like a little side thing that I have from my Instagram fans. So yes, you don't have to stick to the end for that part. I'm gonna make a separate video just for those purposes. But again, if you want to stick to the whole video, that would be amazing. If you like and subscribe, that feels amazing. But let's get back to the point of this. How deserves, nobody owes you success. My bad, I had a brain fart. The Umph Factor. It's owning a business, running a business, wanting it, being successful. It's kind of like losing weight. It's like the gym. Nothing is guaranteed. And just because you put the hard work and hard effort, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen either. But think about it like this. If I think, oh, you know what? I'm never going to lose weight because it's not guaranteed. So let me not try it. When will I lose weight? If I say, you know what? I'm never going to start that side hustle to start my business. I'm never going to start my business because I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'd rather just stay in the sideline and wait. Will it ever happen? When you're investing in the stock market, people always say, oh, I'm going to wait till the stock market crashes a buy. I'm going to keep waiting. I'm keep waiting. And I keep waiting. And you're probably going to be on the sideline waiting forever. And sure, there might be some people that get lucky, that get to invest in the stock market, but that's not always a reality. Usually, most of the part, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And the best day to invest was yesterday, and the second best day is today. But we're not talking about investing. We're talking about how nobody owes you success. It's about working that extra hour, working those 2 extra hours, being the first person that clocks in, being the last person that clocks in. That's why I call this podcast Clocked In, because I'm always clocked in doing something. When I get home after working an 8, 10, 12-hour shift, you know what I do? I start editing my videos. I start posting content. I start making content because I understand that if I want to make it to where I want to be, I need to put in the hard work right now, especially because I'm young. And no, just because you might not be as young as I, or you might be even younger. I'm 28, but I don't think that age fully matters when it comes to success. It's, do you really want it? And just because you really want it, it might not be guaranteed. But again, I'm not trying to discourage you and don't do it, but you got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. And I'll tell you this, you will not see it until after. Like you won't see it during the progress. You won't see it. Like when I was losing weight, I wouldn't see it. I would always see it. I think it's called body dysmorphia, where you would see yourself and like you see this big old version of you. And I was big. I was 300 pounds. My bad. I was looking at the camera and I realized I was looking straight at my phone and not at the camera. But I'm not gonna edit this. Editing is a drag. But back to the point of the podcast. I wouldn't see it when I opened our second location. I wouldn't see the progress. It was horrible. But you know what I did? I kept putting the work. Sure, I could have done a little bit more marketing, but I kept putting the work. I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I was opening and closing. It was an hour drive. So think about it. I had to wake up sometimes at 7, 8 in the morning and leave my city of San Bernardino, Rialto at 8:30 because of traffic to get there at 10, work all day, close at 9 and get back home, still get another hour because sometimes there's traffic at 9 at night, and then get back home and then still have to worry about cooking and still have to worry about other stuff, right? Albeit you don't have to cook and stuff like that, but that was my life. And now if you look, I look back and I'm like, all that hard work paid off because during those days I wouldn't see it. I would not see it. I would be freaked out because I would see the bad sales, and I just put in the work. And you know what the whole story, the bigger picture behind this is consistency. You have to be consistent if you want to be successful. And nobody is going to be consistent for you because they're being consistent for their own lives. And sure, there's going to be people that help you out. And sure, there's going to be videos of people. Of course, I consider myself a nobody, but I always talk about Dave Ramsey, Alex Hormozy. There's a lot of people out there, Tony Robbins, a lot of people that I listen to that motivate me. But that's not guaranteed. Just because these guys, these girls, these people tell me this really good advice, they give me this really good motivation, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. They can tell me the most beautiful story about how I have the best pizza and how that pizza place is going to be the best thing ever. But if I don't put in any work, no success is coming to me. Nobody owes me that success. I'm just going to be there. Yeah, yeah. This person thought that my pizza is the best pizza in the world. And I get that a lot. I get a lot of customers telling me, "Oh, this pizza is really good. Oh, this pizza is a really good price." I love all my customers, but if I don't put the hard work, I'm not going to be able to achieve my goals. I'm not going to be able to achieve my financial freedom. I'll talk about my freedoms right now that I have at the moment and how I use that to make it better. But again, we're talking about that umph factor, that that discipline, that consistency. Sometimes you're gonna get that that phone call that you don't want to hear. I've talked about it where I'm trying to open a third location, and it's been Friday, so it's been 6 days, or we're going for 7 days that I turned. Well, I turned it in Friday at night, and it was a weekend, and the Monday was a holiday, so it's been about 4 days, and they haven't told me anything, and it's like I'm freaking out. But guess what? That 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 how do you call it, uncomfortable phone call might happen. I might get a text message or an email saying, "Hey, you know what? We like your application, but we're going to go with a different route." And to get a little bit deeper, I talked to the health department, and the health department said that I need to create a plan, like an architect plan. He said I don't need an architect, but I need to build a scalable plan so they could see what I'm adding, even if it's just a fridge. And he said, "Oh, that might take 6 to 8 weeks if everything goes well." Meaning, even if I get the lease today, I nothing's guaranteed that I can open in 6 to 8 weeks, because what if the health department says, you know what, we don't like that, or there's a little thing wrong with that? No, nobody, no, like I can't do nothing about it. And I have good pizza. I might have the best pizza that might open in that city. It might taste amazing. The prices might be amazing. Nobody owes me that success. And it's not about being intelligent either. Some people always make an excuse. And I talk about this. Everybody loves to make an excuse because making an excuse is easy. Trust me, as a big person, I used to make that excuse. And you know what? Even better example, when we open our second location, I've talked about this. If you're new to this, I'll tell you the same backstory because it's a true backstory. 2 months into our new location, another pizza place opened, and they have, well, I want to say had because they're not there anymore, but they had a better positioning of where they're at. We were inside a strip mall, meaning for you to see us, you can't see us from the streets, and those are high traffic streets. The Beverly and Norwalk. We're talking about on, let's say, on a Friday. Sometimes you have to wait 10 minutes to get past the light because everybody has to go through those streets to be able to go to their homes or to the next city because there's only like 3 boulevards to get into that city of Whittier. I would always blame them because they had a way better. You could see that you could be stuck at the light and you'll be able to see them. You're at the corner and you're able to see them. You go into the shopping center and you could see them because they're the corner ones. We are inside. There's five five buildings, five different locations in the building. I don't know how to explain it, and it's like the subway, a flower shop. There's a place that used to be an insurance place, is a massage place. Like that's a little bit forward, and then it's us. We're like inside a little bit. It's weird to explain. And then there's a cleaner's place, and then the building extends forward again, and then there's a sushi spot. So you really can't see us because technically our name gets a little blocked off by the other places, which is I would always make that excuse. I'd always say, yeah, our business went down because the other place opened, even though their place, according, I don't mean any disrespect. According to the reviews, they would say that they were inconsistent with their flavors. They're saying that sometimes the pizza would be burnt, the wait times would be really high, or it was just a pizza that they would just leave there a slice and it just felt reheated and it didn't taste good. Plus, they would charge like $26 for a large. I only charged $12. People complain about the $12. Imagine people with the $26. Now, albeit everybody is free to charge whatever they like. If you think that your pizza and your experience is worth that, go for it. The market will decide. I would always make an excuse. I'd always say, man, because of these people, again, respectfully, because of these people, my business isn't doing so good. And albeit there may be some truth to that because they, unfortunately, they closed down. I don't know the exact reason. I have a small assumption that part of the reason was, I mean, the rent was higher for sure than ours. I think our rent is 4,500 at the moment. Their rent was like 5,500, 6,000. And then not only was there reviews of people saying that their pizza wasn't good, but you could just go, if you Googled us, both of us popped up. At the moment, ours has like a 4.9 Google rating. Theirs was like at 4.1. So you could do the difference and see like, oh, well, this place is a little bit cheaper, but the only difference is that I could go and eat my pizza inside. But they're not there anymore. Nothing's guaranteed to be successful. Nobody owes you the success. And I mean, I'm doing better now. At the time, I wouldn't see it, but now it's like, huh, things are starting to look out right for me. And all that hard work that I put in, it's finally paying off. But just because it's paying off doesn't mean, oh, I could just kick back, relax, chill, and just collect the money. No, I still got to put in work because just because we're the only pizza place in that block right now, that doesn't mean that people can't get tired of us. That doesn't mean that we can't drop our consistency or our flavor. So I have to make sure that I'm always doing something, or at least marketing, because that was a mistake I did at first. I did no marketing. And you have to be consistent too, because you don't know how many times I've been tired. My feet hurt. I've been not for like 2 months now, but overconsumption of caffeine, and that's not healthy. But I had to for the month of December of 2025. I was working 85 hours every week. It actually started the week of Thanksgiving. So the week of Thanksgiving was really busy in the Rialto store. And one of our good workers decided to take like she had asked for like 12 days, and she didn't decide. She had told me event with ahead of time, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. Um, Thanksgiving isn't that busy, but what I did is I decided to open our Whittier store in Thanksgiving to try to make a little bit more money. So from there, that girl was missing, meaning we were down a good person. Meaning, what I would do is to prepare for that person missing. I would go into the store early before we would open to open sauces and prepare with everything. So once we work the day, we don't have to worry about that because it's all ready. We just worry about how busy it is. Holidays are extremely busy. This went on for the whole month. Like I'm talking about, I would be at either or store at 8 in the morning, and then I wouldn't leave till 8:39, like every day. And thankfully, for that whole month, I mainly only worked in Rialto. And by thankfully, I mean I didn't have to spend the hour or 2 hour drive. I technically only worked 20 hours that whole month in Whittier, and thank God that that store managed to survive me not being there at all 20 hours, meaning I have something going on, right? Now, I need to learn that I need to try to always try to trust my employees that they're going to do it. And even if I lose a little bit more money, I can use that time to build something else, open another business, but that's hard for me. But you have to have discipline, and when you're tired, you got to do it. You know, people call off all the time, and guess what? It's your business, right? You're the one that has to show up. Oh, I feel tired. I don't want to work out today because I'm sore. You just go and show up and do it, even if it's half. I was gonna say half-assed. I could say a bad word. Even if it's half-assed, it's okay. It's okay if you're not putting 100%, but you're showing up. There's this MMA instructor. I don't know his name. I forgot his name, but he talks about where when he coaches his fighters, he trains them to work out, to train every day. And Alex Hormozy talks about this. He says, why go 100% for 5 days or 4 days or 3 days when you could do 80% for 7 days and get more out of it? And Alex Hormozy talks about how instead of working 12 hours for 5 days, you work 7 days a week, 8 hours. You're working less in a day, but you're getting more done. Because his example is that, and it's a really good example, is when kids go to school for college, let's say, they go for one semester and then they get 2-3 months off and then they forget everything. And then they spend the first couple weeks trying to remember everything and get back into the system, into the groove. And all that time was wasted because you took all that time off. So you need to be consistent with your discipline. And even if you're tired, show up, because nobody owes you success. Nobody does. And if you want to make it and you want a higher chance of making it, first of all, if you're not putting in the work, how are you going to make it? But if you're putting in the work, it's a numbers game. I have a video that went semi-viral, and that video at the moment got me like 800 followers on TikTok. How was I gonna know that that one was going to be it? I've actually posted like 10 similar videos, and one of them was a little, I mean, I don't know, you consider 40,000 views viral, but one of them was kind of viral, and the other 8-9 weren't. And they're, I mean, we're not gonna get into it, but how do I know what's going to succeed if I don't put in the work, if I don't put in the effort? Nothing's guaranteed unless if I do it. And how will I know? You gotta do it. And the problem is that people wait for the motivation to come. There's always an excuse back to that. When people go and they talk about losing weight, guess what they do? I'll start next week. Oh, I'll start Monday. Monday gets here, next week gets here. They don't do it. Or people only act on motivation. Now, motivation is amazing. But again, nobody owes you success. So, are you always going to be motivated? No, you're not. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that goes through phases where we get motivated to go and work out and do this, right? And I always go back to the working out because that's something I can relate and talk about really good, and just like Big T's. You're motivated to go work out. I'm motivated to go open the next store. I'm motivated to go to work. Maybe not a lot of people get motivated to go to work, but I love what I do, so I'm always motivated. Sometimes I'm motivated, right? But when I'm not, I still show up because I have the discipline to show up. So motivation is cool and all. Use that to start. I'll tell you that is perfectly fine. But what happens when your motivation runs out? Then you're not gonna go because you were only relying on motivation to show up. So use motivation to become disciplined, to learn discipline. Because once you're disciplined, you're gonna show up no matter how you feel. You feel tired, I'm going. You feel sad, I'm going. You feel amazing, I'm going. It doesn't matter because I'm disciplined to go. You want that financial success, you want that nice car, you want them girls, you want that financial freedom to go to the market and not care of what anything costs, whatever it is, put in the work, or else it's not going to happen. And I hear a lot of times where people talk about how, well, people like to complain about everything and make excuses, but it's like, if I made an excuse for everything, for every time something hurt, my ankles, my stomach, my head, whatever hurts, guess what? I'm not going to make it. If I made an excuse every time my arms are sore, because for the last 3 weeks I've been doing push-ups every day, 50 push-ups, 25 squats, and 20-second planks because my back hurts. I was doing sit-ups and now I do planks. If I stop doing that, I'm not going to get to that fit body that I want. And I work 7 days a week. Albeit sometimes I don't work as much as I tell my dad that I do. But when I'm not at work, let's say he thinks I'm right now he thinks I'm at the Whittier store. I left at like 3 p.m. It's now 6 p.m. almost. He doesn't know that, but what I'm doing at my off time is I'm recording an episode. I'm posting and editing videos. I'm building my side business, my brand, which is something that I've been excited. Maybe for the lean followers have noticed. I made a logo. In the works of creating my brand. It's going to be JQ. How original. My first name, last name, right? But motivation is cool, but everybody waits for motivation to come. If motivation isn't coming, you start. It doesn't matter, and then you learn discipline. They wait for the perfect timing for somebody to help them out or somebody to say it's okay. I have 50 subscribers at the time of recording this, 1,000 followers on TikTok, and 1,200 on Instagram. Whoopee kaye. I've started recording YouTube videos in December. I started my TikTok and Instagram in November. It's February. I You could say that's success, or maybe you can't. I don't know, but I started. And you learn on the way. A lot of people are like, oh, but this, oh, but that. You gotta wait for the perfect time. I wasn't going to record videos until I lost some weight, because I have gained a little bit of more weight, if I'm honest. But I had that weird excuse that, oh, no, I want to make content, but I'll wait till I lose weight. It's like, people don't care if I'm a little chubby. People don't care if you're fat. People don't care if you're fit. People don't care if you're skinny. People aren't watching this because I look pretty. I'm not pretty. People watch this because they're getting something good out of it, or at least you're a fan, or you like how I speak. And I mean, what I created was on my YouTube channel is I'm creating like three sections of content that people can watch. And I'm drifting a little bit apart, but it's totally fine. It's my podcast. I can say whatever I want. I don't like being that way. It sounded too egotistical, but I want to start a podcast. I want to be a good podcaster. I want to be famous enough where I get brought on to different podcasts, maybe like the Ice Coffee Hour or something like that, something big. I would love to do that. I would love to get called up on it. I want people to watch my POV videos of watching me work, and how we make pizzas and how busy we get, because that's also something people can watch. And I have a little series where I help out the community. I go to feed homeless people, because I also feel like if you are blessed and have an opportunity, I had the opportunity of the sacrifice that my dad did to be able to open Big T's. I want to give back to people and help out people, because I can't help out the homeless, for example, with money, and I won't. Even if I had all the money in the world, I don't think that we should be helping them with money, but I can help them with food, because for me that feels right. Tony Robbins was in a podcast with Alex Hormozy. He talked about it, where you have to find something that spiritually puts you up. And for me, there's something about it where just helping somebody hungry, it just feels so amazing. And just because I'm doing that, just because I have a podcast, just because invested a little bit of money in this equipment, nobody owes me success. And if I become successful, is because nobody owed me that success. It's because I earned it. I worked hard for it. And that's when I wish maybe this could get to more people. Work hard for your goal. Work hard for that dream. It's not impossible. There's always going to be an excuse. Sure, the economy is weird right now. Inflation was high for like the last 4 or 5 years, but people always talk about it. In the 80s or whatever, inflation was hot. Back when it was the Cold War with the Soviet Union, people didn't know what was going to happen. We never know what's going to happen. We always think the world is going to end. COVID happened. We all thought the world was going to end. We all thought people were going to just stay working at home. I didn't work a single day in my house when COVID. We were actually extremely busy during COVID. COVID for us was a blessing. I'm talking about big T's. But you got to do it, because if the world doesn't end, guess what? You just stayed in the sideline waiting for this Armageddon to happen, and it didn't happen. Time and time and time and time again, us humans have survived. We've prevailed and we're stronger. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you want to see it. We prevailed evil every single time. We prevailed a disaster every single time. And guess what? Let's say this time really is it. This time we really the earth is really gone because of this. It doesn't matter at that moment if you didn't do it or not. But again, has the world ended? No, the world hasn't ended. Meaning, using that logic, if the world doesn't end and you actually did something, guess what? Success is probably closer to you than most people that do not work hard for it. Now, albeit I I do work a lot, for example, like maybe not as much as I was in December, but I am working 70 hours a week. Maybe you don't have to be out. I'm not gonna say dumb, but maybe you don't have to be like that either, unless if you have like a lot of debt and stuff like that. You do have to work hard, but you also have to work with a plan. I'm not saying smart, but with a plan. You have to have a goal. You know what? I'm working 70 hours a week because I'm trying to pay off all my debt because I'm trying to open my business. And that's what I've been doing. I took a 20% pay cut from my paycheck to be able to fund our next location. Sorry about that. I'm not cutting that off because I want to open a third location because I feel like if we open a third location and I simplify the menu by that time, I feel like that location can be replicated and open more locations. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. And let's say I'm saving $1,000 a week for it as an example. Let's say that's 25%. That's not 100 grand, the minimum I need to open a location, but I'm putting in the work and I'm putting in the stepping stones, the building blocks, so I could have something bigger in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I tell a lot of my friends, hey, or not, I don't really have that many friends, but I tell a lot of people because they're like, oh, like life is, you only live once, right? YOLO. It's like, I understand that. But Michael B. Jordan talks about this how I'm young right now. I got to take advantage of that and make the most bread I can because once I'm 40, 50, 60, no disrespect to anybody that age, I know that the level of physicality will not be the same. I don't want to be 60 working hard because I was 20, 25, 30, 35 and not putting in any work, just living life because you only live once. Because remember, you only live once, but once you get to that age and you don't have nothing, guess what? You have no other options. You're either waiting for somebody to give you a handout, which who knows if that's going to happen, or you have to work hard and now you're 60 having to work hard. And it's like, I'd rather take advantage right now, open as many businesses as I can, perfect my systems, perfect my craft, so that once I'm 40, then I don't have to work as hard as I am now because I've built the building blocks for this to compound and grow and be and work without me, work with my systems. Because that's how you open and run a success. That's how you scale a successful business. And that's what everybody talks about, but it's a little bit different because for me, it's literally physical work. I have to make the pizzas. AI won't come and make pizzas for me, although there are AI robots that make pizzas, but it's not the same. Maybe one day, but at the moment, unless if again I've talked about this before, Tesla makes a robot and they could do the pizzas, then I'll invest in a couple of those. But nobody owes you success. You gotta work hard for it. Success doesn't show up because you want it. It shows up because you work for it long enough. And that's totally true. My dad sacrificed. He bought the location in '07. '07. It wasn't popping. He went through a divorce. He's I didn't say he become I'm not gonna say he became an alcoholic, but he started drinking beer like 6 to 12 cans of beer at least a day. um he went through a big IRS audit where he just didn't know how to put everything in the books, so they thought he was, he wasn't paying his taxes. It wasn't that much, but he went through an audit because again he wasn't prepared on how to successfully run a business in the money aspect. He sacrificed, I mean, COVID, like 2018. So he sacrificed 11 years. He sacrificed his marriage, his family, his health, his mental health, his, I don't know, medical health too, all for Big T's to survive. And so far, it's worth every single thing that he's sacrificed. I have a lot of respect for my dad because oh, I might have to cut this off. Oh well, it's because sorry, my neighbors here. He has a loud car, but I'm just keep speaking. If you guys can hear the loud car, I'm so sorry. Hope he doesn't do something dumb and starts revving it. But he sacrificed all that time because the longer you sacrifice, the more chances you have for success to hit. The more videos you post, the more videos you record, the more you try, the more easier it is that success will get here. I sacrificed a year and a half in Whittier. Now notice the trend. My dad had to sacrifice 10 years to get to something kind of good. I only had to sacrifice a year and a half of hard work, a little bit of mental health. I went through one breakup during that time, which is probably my fault because of the business, me being stressed all the time. It wasn't her fault, right? I sacrificed a year and a half. And if I open another place, I'm hoping that I only have to sacrifice another year and a half max. And if I get to sacrifice way less than that, then I've cracked the code. But because I got lucky, you could say that. But I still had to sacrifice something. I still had to work hard. Before we opened our second location, I've been working since I've been 15. I haven't had a day off since September 15th to 2018, and I could be a little off by the exact date, but I think it was a J. Cole concert. It was a Wednesday. That's the last time I've had an official day off out of the week. I've had, like, for example, in 2023, I went to Hawaii for a week. Last year I probably only took from Whittier. I don't think I took. Oh no, the 2024 I took no days off after opening the Whittier store. Half of the year, most of the year for Whittier of 2025, I took no days off. But guess what? It's because I understand that in 6 months, a year, hopefully, I'm gonna make it. And success will come to me because I worked hard for it. Not because somebody owed it to me. Not because my dad owed it to me. Not because, oh, yeah, nobody owes you success. It's simple. But people can't comprehend that. I don't know why. I know people around me that always complain about something. It's like, why are you complaining? Make it happen. Make it work. Or try it. At least try it. And if you try it and nothing happened, then try again. Don't just stay there stuck crying, oh, but this, but that. I don't care. I work 7 days a week. I don't get to enjoy my life. Actually I do. After this, I'm gonna go play pickleball. There's a cute girl that goes, and I don't know if she's taking her now, but I'm gonna go try to split my game. And if nothing happens, it's okay. I'm gonna keep going to play pickleball and having fun at my free time because I'm enjoying life still. I'm enjoying what I do right now. This is amazing being able to record this and do all this. And if this ever pops, it's because I've been recording and perfecting my craft, perfecting my voice, trying not to stutter. It's hard for me. I'm a person that stutters a lot, especially, well, yeah, anything. I stutter a lot and I say a lot, but I'm practicing to get better. And you're going to sacrifice a lot in the beginning stages of any business. Sorry, that's because I was reading this and this made no sense. But you don't get an applause. You don't. People aren't. You might have a couple friends, but people don't understand the small victories that you have. I have a coworker, that good coworker I talked about earlier, where she took like 12 days off. She's a cool friend of mine. Um, Sometimes I'll tell her, like, I'm just giving you numbers as an example. Like, for the last 3 days on Whittier, for the last 3 weekends, we sold $2,000 each day. Like, that is something that you guys would. I'm just giving you numbers, but you wouldn't understand. For example, the slowest day in Rialto, using the same numbers, we sell about 2,500, almost $3,000. The slowest day in Rialto. The busiest day in Whittier, we sold 2,000, 2,400, and for me, that's a small victory because it's amazing. Oh, you know what? I'm selling this much. I'm doing this much. I wasn't doing this much a year ago. I didn't imagine me getting to a point where customers are waiting 15 minutes because customers wouldn't wait 7 minutes. But guess what? I put in the hard work and I deserve that victory. Okay, cool. Nobody owes no, I don't deserve anything. I put in that hard work, but all this is happening because of that hard work and being patient in the time and sacrificing all that time. I I still don't have a balance because not only I could have a balance. I could not record any of these videos and not try to open my brand and my side business. I could just stay working 10 hours a week in Whittier, 15 hours a week in Whittier, or hire a person so they could work almost every day, and I just worry about the payroll, the inventory, and the scheduling, and I work my 40 hours that I work at Rialto and just kick back and enjoy life. But guess what? That that isn't me. And guess what? If I do that, then I'm not gonna be able to grow this. I'm not gonna be able to grow a third location. And not just that, I'm getting my reps in. The more I'm recording, the more reps I'm getting. It's like the gym. The more reps you do, the better you get. The more you split game with the girl, the better you're gonna get. The more I make the pizzas, the better I get. The more I negotiate with these people, these landlords for leases, the better I'm gonna get. And eventually one of them is going to like me and be like, you know what, I'm gonna give this person a chance. The more I work on my numbers of the books, the better it gets. The more I work on my systems for big T's, the better it gets. But guess what? I'm putting in the hard work into that. It's not going to happen just because. And early on, it feels heavy. Believe me, like when I say heavy, it feels heavy. Nobody understands you. My first podcast is the loneliness of being an owner operator or being an owner of a business. It gets only lonely, and that is heavy. Nobody understands that. I told you that I had a relationship that I couldn't balance the difference between being upset because I wasn't making a single dollar and I felt like a failure when I got home or when I went to go hang out with her. She was living with me, and I couldn't split it, and I would go off on her, and it would always start an argument. But nobody understands how heavy that is. A few people will understand. Hopefully, you guys can see the picture. Even if you don't understand, you could understand, like just like the point of this. Um, the power shift. It's because I wrote another note. I'm going to get better at my writing my own notes of what I'm gonna write because it made no sense what I wrote. I was like, huh? But if nobody owes you success, that means it's time to build. It truly is. Like build yourself, build build whatever you dream of, whatever you're good at. Actually, that's a better advice. Build whatever you're good at. Everybody has a talent. I don't know what my talent is, but I have good charisma, I guess, when it comes to talking to people. I can make people smile just by smiling at them. I don't know if that's something you can make money off of, but I guess you can. You could go into sales. I could talk to people, customer service, something that's monetizable, of course. I can set systems up because, for example, I come from an old school learning mentality from my father, right? But I could see patterns. That's my superpower. I can see patterns too, which is good. Maybe I could create a side business where I go to other restaurants that are have don't have good systems and help them create a good system. I could do that. Maybe that's just a thought process, an example of something that could work with you, and you got to build on that and you build the reps, and that's how you succeed. It's simple. Do I think I'm successful? Yes. Have I made it? No. I'm nowhere close. Will I ever get there? I honestly do not think I will ever get there. I don't see myself getting to a point where I'm not working as hard or worried about my business, because I feel like if I open my third store, you know what my next goal is? Open the fourth store and see how many stores I can open from there. I don't think I'm gonna get to a point where I'm gonna be like, you know what, I have 5 stores, I'm content. No, because I also have other plans. Once I open 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 stores and I have enough money, I want to open a pickleball gym. But I want to do a pickleball gym that's a little bit of a hybrid. You have the monetized inside where people go and play inside, nice weather. You don't have to worry about if it's raining. You don't have to worry about if it's windy, it's too hot. It's controlled environment. But I want to open some courts on the outside so they could be free for people to go and try them out and play for the sports. That's another goal and dream that I have. And I also want to open a different pizza style place that it's kind of like oh, I'm not going to get specific into it, but I also want that. But guess what? I can't get to any of those 2 points if I don't build right now, if I don't work right now, because success isn't going to come if I don't work for it. Success isn't going to come if I don't build for it. Stop waiting. Lock in. Like if I have to close this up, I don't think I've been recording for that long. I think it's only been like 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. Lock in. You have to lock in. It's going to get here today. It's not going to get here tomorrow. I have a little fitness page where I've been posting every day of me working out. Everybody says one day I'll have that. One day I'll get that body. One day I'll get that car. One day I'll get that girl. One day I'll get that job. That day will never come if you don't start and make it day one. If you don't open that business, if you don't start that side hustle, because I'm gonna make a different podcast episode. It might be my next episode where I talk about how I would start a business myself if I'm starting off afresh. Because, yeah, albeit I'm lucky that my dad had a business and sacrificed himself, but just because I got lucky with one thing doesn't mean you can't get lucky with something else. Because luck is everywhere for everybody. We just don't see the opportunity sometimes. And I use that lucky moment of my dad sacrificing 10, 15 years to make something. I'm using that to build something even bigger. My dad made Rialto the beast it is. I want to make 20 stores, unlimited stores. My ultimate goal is to be nationwide, and I only have about 20 to 30 years to do that, and that is scary because I feel like time is running out. But that's a personal problem that I have. That's not going to happen at all if I do not start today and start building today, because nothing is guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed. Nobody owes me that success, even if I've been putting 70, 80 hours a week, even if my dad sacrificed 10 years in his marriage and his family and his mental health and everything. Nothing is guaranteed if you don't work for it. So that is going to be enough for today. I hope you liked the episode. Please like, share, and subscribe if you made it this far. I will not cut it. I might cut it off, might not cut this part off. But the next segment is going to be the Q&A from my Instagram followers. I do have about 7 questions, 8 questions that they asked, and they were really good questions actually. Most of them are really good questions. So if you're gonna stick to this point, it's cool, awesome. I love you guys. See you next time. We'll keep making these episodes at least a year. If I see no success in a year, then maybe I might not stop. But hey, my dad sacrificed 10, 12 years to build something amazing. I don't mind sacrificing 10, 12 years to build something amazing. And if I will make this podcast successful, I will learn my voice. I will be on some famous person's podcast eventually. Whether it takes 20 years, I will do it. I know I can, because